only thing we have to
Beer.
is
Beer.
itself.
Beer. So many choices.
Only no function beer well without.
Woohoo! Beer!
Geez, I gotta see if I can remember how to do this. I think I say hello and welcome to another episode of Beer Busters. We're gonna bring you the news and reviews of your favorite brews. I think I'm Dan Baker, joined by my co-host and brewologist,
Steph Hefner.
and of course the demented and fermented,
Mark.
and here we are.
That was beautiful.
It was. Clearly without a hitch. Well, hello to you, dear listener.
I'm being heckled by.
Oh God, you're being heckled. Oh God, we have a peanut gallery.
Yeah, and I think they're from Kane.
Oh no.
Oh no, get out.
Oh no.
Get out.
Mark LaRosa's old stomping
Oh
grounds.
man.
Yep.
Well,
Mark, did I call him Mark? Oh my
you
God.
did. You did.
Yep. I knew what you were talking about.
It's okay. It's like you said before we recorded. We're editing. I can cut that out if you want.
I'd blame it on Mark.
All right.
Sorry, Mike.
Well, yeah. Hey there to you in podcast land. We're back. Hi. Sorry for the hiatus. Nobody got injured this time, so at least it was just life. But yeah, we're back. Hi. Happy to be back. We're coming back strong. We have a fantastic episode tonight. You've already heard his voice, but now I'm going to let the man finally fucking introduce himself. From Birdsmouth Brewing, we have
Andy Joya, how you guys doing? I'm the owner of Birdsmouth Beer. We're an all-lager brewery in Oceanport, New Jersey, and really happy to be in the podcast and talk some beer. Thanks for having us, guys.
Of course.
And there's
having
a
me.
party. There's a party going on at the brewery tonight. I could hear the background music at Birdsmouth and not the intro music, but I was kind of okay with that.
So I'm currently sitting in the loading dock right now because there is nowhere in the brewery that it isn't very loud with the Grateful Dead playing. So we have a Grateful Dead cover band tonight, and they're rocking out inside.
Nice.
And I realized I was like, where am I going to go? So I'm in the loading dock and with some nice background music.
Well, thank you for doing that. What's the band's name?
Crickets and Cicadas.
Oh, I've heard of that.
They played a few breweries in the area. I think they played Tonewood a lot. They were really good. So we'll definitely have them back.
Cool.
Nice.
Yeah, I feel like a Grateful Dead cover band is not just a good choice, but a choice that's like, it's inoffensive. You know, jam music gets a bad rep, but everybody's gonna find themselves tapping their toe and bobbing their head to the Dead.
Exactly. I'm waiting for the hula hoops to show up.
Yeah, right.
So you're saying Kesha is not a good cover option?
Hey, Kesha is, she's a good songwriter, talented musician. I just think it takes a very specific kind of person to try to be the Kesha cover band.
This is true.
Indeed.
Yeah.
You don't see pop stars are not done by cover bands. That's why we have drag queens.
Yeah, that's
drag
true.
queens can do pop stars. Cover bands, no.
That's true.
Save that for the classic rock and the jam band stuff.
Yep.
For the classic.
But they are killing in there, I must
That's
say.
good. That's good. Well, I mean, we have so much to get to. I'm trying to run through like how to do the intro to the show again. You can follow along on the internet, the social medias and stuff. We're at Beerbusters on Threads, Instagram, and TikTok. Although I don't know if we have the password to TikTok, so we might not get any new TikToks. Facebook, we are Beerbusters Podcast. There's beerbusterspodcast.com, where you can remember to add /shop and get yourself some cool merch that Wayne designed. There's YouTube, where we are Beerbusters Podcast. And there's also patreon.com/Beerbusters, where as little as $1 a month gets you access to the behind-the-scenes feed, to the archives of the punishment videos and last call and all the goodies from back in the day. And the wheels are still turning inside somewhere for new stuff to churn out for the Patreon. So stay tuned. And I promise, even with what it's at now, $1 a month, you can't beat it.
I really want to record a bonus episode with Ethan just for Patreon.
We should. I feel like we vaguely
that's
talked
in the
about
works.
that.
We did talk about it when we recorded his exit interview, but I think we need to actually hold ourselves accountable and do that.
That's true.
Because I think our patrons would enjoy that.
Yes. So stay tuned to the Patreon, and if you'd like to get in on that, as little as $1 a month.
So I have to thank Mark. He's the one that introduced me to Birdsmouth beer. Whenever I'm heading across the river to Jersey, I text Mark and I say, okay, where do I need to go drink now? And Birdsmouth was the most recent one that he had recommended. I guess it's been over a year now since I was there for the first time. But I think I may have texted Mark and said, where can I get... Oh my God, I'm sorry. I just saw what you changed your name to on the screen.
Oh, no.
I think I texted you and I said, where can I get the best lager in Jersey? Because, you know, as our listeners know, we are very lager happy podcasters. And I guess my first initial question for you, Andy, is why an all lager brewery? And thank you.
It kind of, I got the, I guess the itch to brew lagers years ago, and it's kind of what I've gravitated towards in my own drinking. You know, getting older, having kids, like I love big beers, I love all that whole thing, but I found myself just drinking more lagers, and I was like, you know what, I want to see if I can start a brewery and make the beers that I think that a lot of people my age, I mean, I'm 40 now, I have kids, where it's like I got to get up in the morning, be productive and everything else, where it's like I do enjoy having more than one beer, and sometimes I want to drink a gallon of beer and wake up the next morning and feel okay. So we kind of set out on the journey to see if we could make a brewery that produces beers that you can do that with. So that's kind of where it started. And then I also do like the technical side of the lager brewing. You know, there's a lot of challenges that I don't think you run into as much with ale brewing, and that really attracted me to it too. I'm a big science guy, very into the brewing science of things. So that's why lagers kind of just hit home for me. And I was like, if we're going to do something and if you're going to make lagers well, you got to do it all the time. To do them one-offs, I just don't think you get the right, you don't get in the groove. And if you're doing them all the time, you can really get into a groove. And if you keep your menu limited, which we only run 6 beers at a time, you can kind of really hone in on those. And I've always said, like, if I spend the rest of my life working on original lager, I'd totally be cool with that. Like, honing in on a small amount of things has always been kind of, I'm a tinkerer. I like to, like, work on one thing opposed to trying to do a bunch of things. And lagers kind of just fit the bill for me.
And I think people that appreciate lagers also appreciate all of that extra sciencey stuff or extra work that goes into making them. I think for a very long history of the style, especially when macros were, well, they still are, but macros kind of filled the picture. It was a cheap beer. And, you typically relate things that are cheap to maybe not as high quality or not as good. But it's sort of irony because really you can make an IPA and make it really shitty and just add a bunch of hops in it. Now the hops aren't cheap ingredients, but a lager takes a lot more time, a lot more care. But that's usually the cheapest beer on the menu.
There's stewardship to lagering. It's almost like if you're going to be like a gardener, where it's like you're taking care of something for a long time, opposed to just trying to turn and burn kind of thing. Like there's it takes weeks to make a lager, and you're caring for it the whole time, which is kind of fun. Where it's not just like, all right, the beer is born, 2 weeks later it's out, beer is born. It's less of a grind where you're kind of like watching the whole thing go through the process, and you see it change so much from the beginning to the end that it's fun. There's stewardship in it, and that's what me, Derek, Kyle over here that are on the production staff really enjoy, taking that time and watching things change on a larger scale.
Mm-hmm. Was there any part of you that worried in the beginning, like, what if people don't want to come and just drink lagers, or were you confident that there was going to be a community?
I was shitting my pants for I've been thinking for years that I'm going to do this, and I was just like, oh my God, like, am I just going to do something stupid? And when I first started thinking about making an all lager brewery, luckily I think a lot of people are coming around where they're digging lagers now. When I first started hatching this whole plot, that wasn't really the case. And I was just like, am I crazy to do this? I was shitting my pants every night. And then when the place opened, I was just like, oh my God, I got to sell I got to sell this, which is a whole different element. Like, brewing beer, delivering beer, packaging beer. Mark, you can, attest to this. We're good at that. But then all of a sudden it's like, holy shit, I got to sell it. And it's a whole different animal. It's a whole different beast. Yeah. And I'd never been on the sales side. I've worked in every position in a brewery, but never the sales side. It turns out the sales side is a very hard side.
You were like, shit, maybe I should have had that job.
So if we're thinking of the sales side, I kind of need to ask, and this, I love that it's the two of you guys that are on, because you have such different perspectives at such different breweries when it comes to this stuff. So do you think, considering Birdsmouth only distributes to Jersey, right?
Yeah.
Do you think that is a benefit, or are you looking to going a little further? And Mark, I know Cape May distributes pretty far, so I guess, I don't know, what do you guys see as the differences to those strategies? And that's a question I never thought I would have asked on this podcast 10 years ago.
You're learning.
I guess I am. It took me long enough.
How to ask questions?
Mark, you want to tackle
how to ask about strategies, sales strategies.
I know.
I mean, on our side, it's just, and hi, I work for Cape May, if those of you who don't know. And we're just in 3 states. And, we've never been about ones that are going to go in world domination or go in 15 states. But it's a little bit about saturation with the liquid. But definitely a bit of a different strategy, at least I think, than Andy.
So for me, I mean, I've only been in business for a year. So there's still room before I have to make necessarily those decisions about how wide I'm going to go. I mean, New Jersey's pretty densely populated.
Oh, for sure.
There's a lot of bars. There's a lot of people. And we're in a different lane, which I think helps. It's a different conversation that I'm having, with someone that's going to buy our beer, which is awesome because, all of my friends are in the industry, brewers. So it's like, I don't want to go in and be like, I want to take this guy's tap handle or something like that. I'm having a different conversation. So I think my strategy is different than most, where I'm going and saying, do you need a lager that you can get consistently? Because we only make 6 and we brew them all year. So it's a different conversation. So our strategy is, I think there's still some room for us before we have to try to cast a broad net. And I want to keep things tight. I don't wholesale cans yet because I don't necessarily want to go there just yet. So I'm trying to grow relatively small or slowly, not too quickly. So for right now, I think Jersey's got plenty of room for us, and just even in the local area. And talking to bars around. So I have no intention of going outside of Jersey. There's a lot of bars and there's a lot of people that think are turned on to lager.
Yeah, and I hope that didn't come across as me saying you only go to Jersey. That's good to have. You want to keep it local. You want to make sure that you're going to places that or have a better chance of knowing. If you end up distributing your beer to what, Georgia? Are you really going to go down and check the bars in Atlanta? Quarterly.
That's
if
also
you really
want to have. Go ahead, Mark.
If you really want to take care of the product and, watch it end to end and check in on that, it's a lot harder the further you get away from the tap room, especially in, draft may be a little bit easier. You're visiting some bars and, they take care of the product, but package is a whole nother level.
Yeah. I bet. And I bet that's got different challenges. And
I always said, the real heroes of a brewery are not the brewers. It's the packaging guys. You have the potential to fuck a beer up way more on the packaging line than you do on the brew deck. And I'll tell a story which maybe it's detrimental to myself or not. But I brewed a rye lager, and it actually turned out to be a really great beer. It was a fucking disaster on the brew deck. It took me 24 hours to do 2 turns. Oof. Derek started the first turn in the morning, and we stuck this fucking mash so bad, so many times. But I also did 40% rye, which is fucking insane.
Wow. And
it was the most miserable brew day. We missed it's a great beer. You guys should go and buy it. But it was a nightmare on the brew deck. I missed the gravity, which me and Derek pride ourselves that, we can hit gravities. We missed it pretty bad. It was supposed to be a 6% beer. It turned out to be 4.5. And
I'm okay with that, because then I can drink a gallon
beer,
of it.
Exactly. So I love the beer now, but my point is, you can make mistakes on the brew deck, but you can't make mistakes in packaging.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where, if you're going to have a sales strategy, you got to make sure packaging is tight.
Yeah.
And those are the real heroes of a brewery, where the brewers get a lot of credit for the reason that beer tastes great. But I don't think the packaging teams, the guys filling kegs, the guys putting beer in cans, are getting enough credit, because they're really the ones that are determining, very much so, how good that product is. The brewers get a lot of, everyone wants to be on the brew deck, everyone wants to be a brewer, but where the meat and potatoes of why the beer is good is usually comes down to packaging.
So are you going to try to brew it again, or are you like, fuck that, I'm never doing it
Oh,
again?
now I'm like so fascinated with rye, because it
That's what I thought.
So I'm like, I've been like researching rye like crazy, because we were definitely going to try to do it again. And I'm going to use more rice hulls than anyone has ever seen. I'm going to buy a pallet of rice hulls to run this beer off.
It's going to be a Rye-mageddon.
Yeah.
Rye-mageddon, yes. We're not only going to be in a lager brewery, we were going to only brew rye lagers.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, so I'm fascinated with it now, because it got me. And I want to keep going, because the beer came out like really interesting, and it's an ingredient that I definitely want to use more. But I just I brought a knife to a gunfight for sure.
What do you guys, I guess overall, I mean, I know you're kind of focusing on some brands. Is your lager brewing style more traditional, more modern? You kind of play a little bit to both worlds?
So really what I do is I really look at raw ingredients to kind of determine process. We don't decoct any of our beers, if that's where you're going with that. We are, I have jacketed mash tun, so I can do steps, I can do decoctions. But I'm not currently brewing anything that I think lends itself to that. I'm not trying to brew traditional styles. I have a vision in my head of what I want the beer to be, and I kind of go for that. And then use the techniques that I have to do to get me there. Whether that's a traditional technique or a non-traditional technique, I'm not really trying to hold myself to any kind of. I feel like I've, put myself in a box enough just saying that I'm brewing lagers. So I want to use all of the techniques that I can to get to the product that I want, the vision that I have for beer. So I don't. To answer your question, no, I don't follow any traditions or. Sorry.
No, you're good. I guess related to that, what is your favorite beer that you brew, and have you found your customers to differ, or are they right on point with what you like?
So, this is a tough one. So my favorite beer is our Vienna lager.
Okay.
It's also my daughter's name, so that helps. So I have I'm skewed to liking it, but when I first brewed that beer, I had every intent for it to be a one-off kind of thing, and it took off. Where like that's actually probably our highest selling beer right now. Nice. And Mexican Lager too was supposed to be a one-off. I always envisioned Original Lager as being our flagship, and it still kind of is. But I'm impressed with how much Vienna and Mexican Lager have kind of taken off for us.
I'm not gonna lie; those are my two favorite beers you make.
Yeah.
That Mexican Lager, like I was surprised that you guys had it, and it knocked my socks off. I don't know if you've canned it at all. When I was there, they didn't have any cans, and I was really, really bummed. So I took a bunch of Vienna home, but that beer is freaking amazing.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Yeah, I mean, that was definitely a beer that surprised me at how much people dug it. I mean, when it was done, I was actually like, oh, this is kind of nice. This is what we wanted to do. I don't know if anyone's going to like it. And it turned out that a lot of people liked it, and it's one of our best brands, and it's an all year beer. Like, it's sold well even through the winter, which was I was impressed by that.
Nice.
Have you done or considered doing a dark Mexican lager?
Oh yeah, we do one.
You do?
Yeah, we released it. I'm brewing it again next week. That one was pretty popular too, because I love Modelo Negra. It's awesome.
Oh yeah.
Like, that beer, I can slug the hell out of those things.
Unlike most people, their beginning beer journeys start with like macro lagers. I started with Mexican lagers, like
Wow.
Corona,
yes.
Dos Equis, Modelo. That's what, when I started drinking, that's what I was drinking. So now that like craft breweries are starting to brew those Mexican style lagers, I am like all over it and I'm loving it.
I know.
Because you don't need to shove a lime in it to like mask the skunkiness. You can just drink.
Yeah.
Yeah, one of the weirdest experiences was on this show having a Corona without a lime. I'd never done it before, and then I understood why you had the lime.
Well, we also did the skunking test here.
Yeah,
I don't remember if that was Corona, but we did the beers where we kept one in the dark, one in the sun, one by a black light. Like, we did a whole experience. That was a long time ago.
Yeah.
That was interesting.
So fast.
Yeah.
Like, beer's like, it dropped, like, we don't have shade in the front of the brewery, and I see people drinking beers out there, and I'm just like, oh my God. I'm like, there's beers are dying in the sun right now. I was actually talking to Kyle today. I'm like, dude, should we like get a bunch of ceramic mugs and give people ceramic mugs for when they go outside? Because I'm just like watching them in the, you know, the little outside area we have, and I'm like, oh my God, there's so much sun hitting that beer.
Or
That's love. That's love right there.
here's an idea: beer glass, but it has like sunglasses.
UV protection beer glasses.
Yep.
Yes. Now we're talking.
You mentioned your location. We have to talk about that because we talked about the people that, you know, would they accept loggers, and I'm sure you have this following of people that really embrace loggers and are excited to come to your location. But if you're not from the area like me, like, it's not the easiest location to find. So I feel like those of us that go on a trek to come to you, at least, you know, like, we are there for the love of the lager. So do you want to talk about maybe why you chose that area and maybe what the future of that area is, if you know?
So we're in an old Army base, Fort Monmouth. So the Army left here, I think 15 years ago, and all of the buildings were still here. And it was basically like that land was given back to the towns. So we were looking for space for a long time. For a couple of years, I was touring every warehouse in New Jersey. And then finally this one popped up, and we came and looked at it, and it was like, you know what? We're kind of a good business to come in here because we have a wholesale element and we have a retail element, where it's like, if you were going to, when we opened a year ago, if you were going to open like a restaurant here, you're not going to get any foot traffic. We're in the middle of an Army base. But because we had the wholesale element, we were like, we can kind of survive with the wholesale, and then we have the retail too. So we were a good fit for the area. But now, Baseline Social, which is a sports bar, opened up, you know, in the same building as us. There's the Loft. There's some other businesses coming in. Netflix is supposed to take over, you know, a big part of the fort. So it's starting to get built up now, but when we first opened, it was really difficult to try to get people here because none of the streets were named, or, you know, they weren't registered in Google because it was an Army base. Like, they were trying to, like, they're not gonna, you know, there's no satellite images over an Army base. Like, they're not just gonna, that's not open information. So all the streets and everything else, like, people would put it into their phone and it would just not take you here, or it would drop you off like at the bank down the road. So it took a little time to get people to know that we were here, but the local community has embraced us so, like, amazingly, where, you know, we've got our regulars that come in and hang out. And then there's also people that, you know, travel to come here. And I think Google's kind of learned where we are, so people have less trouble. But in the beginning, I'm sure, Steph, when you first came, it was probably very, very difficult to get here.
We actually had more problems leaving than getting there. Like, getting there, it got us far enough that we could figure out where to go. But every time Google was trying to get us to leave, we would end up and there was a cement barrier, and we we can't go that way. So that was fun.
I would sit at the end of the night. I would sit behind the bar and look through the front windows and just watch people, like, wandering around through the fort. Like, I'd see their car lights, like, you know, looping around and everything else. I'm like, oh my god, they're lost. It was trying in the beginning, and then they closed the road. Like the amount of construction that's going on around us, they just close roads like arbitrarily.
Mm-hmm.
And then the main place, the way that people know how to get to the breweries, like closed off.
Yeah,
I think people will have an easier time now.
Yeah, that's good.
They kind of, if you put it into Google, you'll get here. But in the beginning, that was not the case.
Do you say there's a sports bar that's in the same building?
Yeah, Baseline Social.
Are they an account of yours? Do you sell them beer? I've always been surprised. Okay, good. I've always been surprised when there's like a brewery right next to a place and then they don't sell them beer. I'm sure there's reasons for it, but it just makes sense. And then people can go right next door and get like 6-packs from you.
Absolutely. So I've had a relationship with those guys. They own D Lake Bar & Co., The Break, so a couple places in Asbury. I've been friends with them for a long time, and actually when I signed my lease, I gave them the heads up, like, yo guys, you're looking for a new location, maybe check this out. We make a beer for them. It's a great mutual relationship, and both me and them kind of have the mentality where it's like raise all ships, you know. If we can get people here, it's good for both of us. Yeah. And honestly, if another brewery opened up next to me, I would be like, awesome. Oh yeah, like let's get more people here. Let's get more people, you know, into craft beer. Get more people coming through. Like it's good for everyone.
And you're in a nice area too. I mean, you're right on the shoreline and everything, and yeah.
That nice North Jersey air.
Is that
cool?
It was like a hidden gem because, you know. Oh God, we're gonna go down this road, huh?
Uh-oh, I'm intrigued.
I'm just an innocent Pennsylvanian trying to know my Jerseyisms.
So there's a big thing with Jersey where it's like, so where I am,
South Jersey, right?
No, Mark, no, man.
Oh no!
I thought I saw that in South Jersey.
Yes, son of a bitch. So if you're from this area, we consider ourselves Central Jersey, which, according to everyone else in New Jersey, there is only a North and a South.
Yeah, Philly Junior and New York Junior. There's no middle ground. It's Philly Junior and New York Junior. I'm going to shut up as the Pennsylvanian now.
Stay out of this, Pennsylvania.
Hey, our drivers know how to turn left, okay?
We are in Central Jersey, which is the middle of the state. Makes sense. But I guess if gun to my head, we'd be, I guess, considered South Jersey.
Oh, interesting.
But we're really close to North Jersey. This is why we've created Central Jersey.
But from Cape May, everything's North Jersey.
Everything's North Jersey. Exactly. All right.
Well, people ask me all the time,
I'm going to get this train back on the track.
No.
I didn't even know I was starting drama by saying
that. There's always drama involved. Well, then we also got to wonder, is it pork roll or Taylor ham? Is that where you thought I was going, Mark?
Yep.
It's pork roll. It's pork roll.
It's pork roll.
It's pork roll. All right.
It's gross.
It's delicious. All right, good. If we're all on the same page, then we're good. That one goes to rest.
Yeah. Thank God.
Well, okay, and I have to admit something, and I will admit this on air because I have been sheets or die for life. I'm pretty sure I had my first ever actual Wawa hoagie last weekend when we were brewing with Ron, and it was fucking delicious.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so if that was your first one ever, they've kind of gone downhill from what they used to be.
So I missed out.
But I'm really glad you liked it. I'm so glad you liked it.
There may have been a time years ago when we did the Washington's Crossing Beer Fest. I'm pretty sure we stopped at a Wawa to get hoagies before the fest because I remember my brother getting bacon and pepperoni on it. And that's the only memory I have of stopping there. So I may have had one there, but it obviously wasn't memorable. But
So what did you get this time?
Well, I'm a vegetarian, so I just got the cheese hoagie or whatever. Okay. But I used to just always go to Sheetz, and Wawa is definitely superior when it comes to the hoagie game. So Wawa gets the hoagies, Sheetz the fried food.
It's always the fried food at Sheetz.
Drunk food is Sheetz.
Yeah.
But
plus they have the Dr. Pepper barbecue sauce.
Farms?
No, well,
we have some near where I am. Yeah.
Yeah, we've one. I think not too far. So I'm in Philly, and not too far south. I think is one. I've never had the fried chicken, but I've heard it's really good. But Royal Farms is responsible for the worst cup of coffee I've ever had.
Oh.
Oh yeah. Well, Wawa coffee sucks too.
Yeah, I mean, now that I know good coffee, yeah, I totally agree. That's
There's a
like if you need it,
Dunkin' right
coffee.
across from our
Well,
Wawa, so I'm going to Dunkin' for coffee.
Hey, America runs on it, I've been told.
Apparently.
Indeed.
Well, Andy, I did want to ask, because you've mentioned your love of sciencey stuff a few times. Do you have a science background, or what did you do before opening Birdsmouth?
So I have a biology background for my undergrad.
That's helpful.
Yeah. So after my undergrad in biology, I really didn't want to go into teaching. I really liked cooking. So I actually went into the culinary world for a while. I was a line cook. Met my wife doing that, which was, thank God I, had that little sidestep. And then I was going to go to culinary school, and then I started homebrewing. So once homebrewing, the elements of the cooking world and then also the elements of the science coming together was just kind of like beer is where I belong. And I also did a lot of I like working with my hands. So brewing was kind of all of those things rolled into one. Mm-hmm. So I kind of pivoted and went to brewing school instead of culinary school. And then from there, started working in the industry and did my thing. So yeah, this science, has always been my favorite subject. I could probably be a perpetual student for the rest of my life, but yeah, culinary world, and then the food was fun, but then brewing brought it to another level because there is so much more of a science element to it. Not saying that cooking doesn't have huge elements of science in it, but brewing is so, directly biology and chemistry related. Like, we're using the biology and chemistry I learned in college and high school every day, which is fun.
Do you nerd out when you have like lager lovers that come in the brewery and you can just like talk to them about beer on that level? Or do you get more excited maybe about a new beer drinker and you get to like teach them about the stuff that they don't know about?
I just in general like to teach. So like tours, like I actually do kind of enjoy giving tours. And if people are excited about, hearing it, I love talking about it. And I love talking to, brewers that are excited about brewing science. I think is just fun just to kick around, like just kick the shit around it. Cause there's so many different solutions to get to where you want to go in brewing, and just getting into a good conversation like that. It's fun. But I will talk to anyone that wants to sit and geek out about whatever. I'm in, because you get so many different perspectives. I mean, you have a lot of really smart people doing things differently and coming out with awesome products, doing things differently. And then you get to talk about that kind of stuff, and sharing those ideas is really important, I think, just for the industry, and just as personal growth. You want to be a better brewer, you should talk to brewers.
Well, I think it can be inspiring too. Inspire like a
100%.
new beer you want to brew, or a new way you want to brew it, or a way to perfect your rye beer,
Yep, exactly. Like I was just kicking this shit around with, Tim from Artis used to work with me at Kane. Mark?
Yeah.
So he's in the brewery right now kicking it. And we were
nice.
just bullshitting. Yeah. So we were just getting into the whole rye thing, where it's like, do you do the crazy ass, mash in at 110 degrees and go through all these crazy ass steps for beta glucanase? And does it survive killing and all of that shit? So it's like, it's fun having other brewers here, getting into the weeds on that stuff. And anyone that's willing to listen, I'm willing to talk about it.
Are you ever interested or inspired to go outside of your box a little bit? Not outside of lagers, obviously, but maybe try something more creative? Or are you very honed in on the beer flavored beer and lagers tasting like lagers?
So I only have 2 rules. The 2 rules are, I'm not going to put anything besides the traditional brewing ingredients into a beer. And I use lager yeast. Yeah, but I'll still, if I need to acidify a mash, I'm going to use lactic acid. I'm not going to be crazy strict about the rules when it comes to that. I'm just talking about, I'm not going to put chocolate in my beer. I have no problem with people doing that, but that's just not my thing. So when I say traditional brewing ingredients, malt, yeast, hops, water, and lager yeast. and the sky's the limit from there. I'll do anything from there. I mean, I don't want to. We can get as crazy as we want as long as we stay within that box.
So is Central Jersey water or South Jersey water better for brewing?
Oh, if you want to get into water, we can get into water. Water is a passion of mine. And we're very lucky here in Central Jersey on the Jersey Shore because we have surface water. So it's very good for brewing as far as it doesn't have a lot in it, so you can manipulate it pretty easily.
Well,
how's your water down there, Mark?
You see the tears of our enemies from North Jersey flow down the south and make it very nice.
Exactly. Like, how alkaline is your water?
Oh
You should come down to
Yeah.
Jersey where it's nice and.
But Mark, you guys have Oprah, so whatever.
Yes, we do.
All right, so here's kind of a dumb thing. So like if you're passionate about the water and the science of it, and this is probably really stupid, like have you ever brewed your beer recipes with different water from somewhere else to see how it would change it, or how would it even change it?
You can manipulate the water to make it be any kind of water in the world.
Okay.
Right.
Think
So
of
if
it
you
like
wanna build-
Photoshop.
Yeah.
Like you're basically changing it to the profile. If you're trying to make an English style beer, you know, you could add different things and turning it into that Burton water profile, or you know, you can make it more for an IPA. So it's
Yep.
Yeah.
Luckily, our water, and I got it tested before I actually signed the lease. There's not a lot in our water, so it's easy to add. It's harder to remove. So because our water is not a lot in it, it's easy for me to make whatever water I need for that particular recipe. I could talk about water all night.
What are we doing?
Oh,
Oh.
boo.
See, Andy, you shouldn't have stopped talking. Look what happened.
Oh shit. I tend to always come from the philosophy like I'm gonna use the minimum effective dose. So it's like even when I look at water, when I look at a recipe, it's what can I remove that isn't necessary, opposed to what can I add to make it better. So I kind of approach that same kind of thing with water, where it's like I want to get the chemistry done. I want to make sure that I've got what I need, and I really don't go much farther than that. I'm always kind of thinking, what can I take out, not what can I add.
Yeah.
I always joked around, and me and Derek joke around about it all the time, that we're eventually going to hone the brewery down where it is just, we don't even have to label the hops because we only have one kind. And we don't have to label the malt because we only have one kind. Where it's just bags of one malt and bags of hop, and we have successfully made our paradise.
That's amazing. And just get one big grain silo on the side of the
That's what
building.
I'm saying. One silo fill. You don't even have to worry about inventory. Like, how many pounds is it? Don't even need to know what the name is.
So if they accidentally deliver some Citra to your door, you're just like
Send this to South Jersey.
Yeah.
What is
No,
your one hop of choice?
We use Hirschberger a lot.
Yeah.
Like a lot. I overcontracted it.
The truth came out.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, better
You
over
know.
than under.
Exactly. So, yeah, it tends to make it into everything at this point.
Wow. I was digging through I was digging through the fridge this afternoon when I got home from work, and I was really bummed, but that I didn't have a Birdsmouth beer to come out and drink. But they don't last long when we bring them home. But are you drinking a beer right now as you're chatting with us?
Yeah, I am. I actually have a whole 6-pack over here.
A mixed
Oh,
six
man,
pack?
you're going hard.
No, 6 of the same. Working towards
I
that
only made it
gallon.
through, like, half. Yes. Oh,
So I don't
my
have
wife is like,
Birdsmouth,
yeah,
but I am drinking a
Oh,
house
nice.
lager from Poor Man, so
Oh.
at least I am. That's
Very
my
nice.
most local. They aren't a specifically lager brewery, but 90% of the beers on tap are lagers.
Yeah.
So
And they're phenomenal.
and they're amazing. So
Yeah. Oh, I got to get out more.
Nah.
Mark, what are you drinking?
drinking a Cape May Play It Cool, a cold IPA with Belma.
Cold IPA? What is that nonsense?
Andy, IPL or cold IPA?
Oh, cold IPA.
Cold IPA.
You saying like? Oh yeah. I don't want to.
Okay.
IPL. I'm just not down with that. The name. The
The
beer.
name.
I'm totally cool with.
Yeah.
But I just don't like lagers. Don't need to try to be IPAs. Like in name. You know what I mean? It's like we don't have to like cloak ourselves in something else. We can make a hoppy lager. We don't need to like say it's an IPA.
I approve that. I respect that.
Fair. Fair.
Dan, are you drinking?
I am. I'm drinking Cape May Deck Cruise Coffee Lavender. It's a pale ale with lavender and coffee.
Hey.
Courtesy of Mr. Mark Graves.
All right, get that out of here.
I
This
did.
is Andy's show.
I know. I apologize. I wanted to make it to Jersey over the past week to grab some of these beers, but the trip just didn't happen. And I happen to have these from Mark from a little while ago.
Well, I'm planning to go up in a month. My birthday is in a month. And for my birthday meal, I want to go to the Baklava Lady because that is like my favorite place in Jersey. And Source and then Birdsmouth are not a much further distance from there. So
All
that's
right.
my
Well, let me
plan.
know when you're coming. And I'll load the trunk with plenty of cases.
I'll bring the Subaru. We'll fill it up.
Yeah.
I love it. So Mark, if you're off, you should
Well,
make
actually,
the
Mark-
trek all the way up to Central Jersey, and you can meet me for a lager.
Sounds good.
Well, I was talking to Brad. Do you know Brad from Kane? Mark?
Brad? No, I don't think so.
Used to work on the production side. Now he's one of the sales guys, but he's down there all the time. So if you need him to make a drop, he's a good buddy of mine. He lives in my town.
All right.
I was going to try to get him down there yesterday, but he was there Wednesday, not Thursday. So
Gotcha.
you guys get some beer. I can get some beer down to you guys.
If not, I'll make the flock up there.
The flock?
Man. Oh, man. You have these armed and ready to go.
Well,
In the
Mark only goes to Pennsylvania to hang out with Wayne and Dan. So if I want to hang out with Mark, he makes me go to Jersey.
I forced them to come to Jersey once.
Once.
Was that really forcing?
Wings. Jug
Yeah,
handle.
I mean, it was all under the pretense of the wings.
Yeah.
I do have to say, as much as I hate jug handles while I'm driving, the Jug Handle Inn has the best wings. They're just phenomenal.
Huh. I'm going to check that out.
Yeah, no, they're great. They're great. I used to be a wing connoisseur, let's say.
Well, my dipping my toe in the sales world, I eat a lot of wings these days.
Nice.
Because it's hard to strike up a conversation with like a bar manager without like sitting down and having beer and like.
Oh yeah.
I'm a brewer. I'm not a sales guy, so it's like just going in and being like, "Hey," like just doesn't.
Just can't like turn on the
work.
sales charm.
Sit there, drink like 4 beers and be like, "Hey,
Yeah.
So I'm still trying to
beer.
get that whole pitch down. So
Well, I
I've been
feel
eating a lot of wings. I have to sit at the bar and eat wings and drink beers before I can, gather
like
up the courage. Be like,
darn.
"Hey, I got beer."
Terrible game.
I know. And wings are the good go-to. Like every bar has them. You're gonna be able to get okay wings at least, and some places are gonna be really good.
Well, here's a question: have you ever gone to a bar and the wings were so terrible that you reversed your pitch and left? Because you're like,
Yes.
I don't want my beer
no,
paired with these
first
wings.
thing.
Oh.
No, I will stomach those wings no matter how bad they are if they're gonna buy a keg.
Well,
No,
you guys
the
are
one-
in
the
what?
worst-
Like, you're in like 130 bars in Jersey, right? I get the
Yeah.
email from you guys, and it's like scroll. Like it's a long list.
Yeah, we've been doing well. I think it's somewhere in that area. Since we've taken Kyle on, he's doing sales full time. He's really been kicking ass.
Do
Do you
know
guys
what-
self-distribute?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh.
So it's me, Kyle, and Derek. So
Wow.
either
What
Derek's
sort
out
of-
delivering and I'm brewing, or Derek's brewing and I'm out delivering, and then Kyle's selling.
What radius are you from the brewery with your distribution?
We're pretty far north. I mean, we're in Jersey City, which is probably like, I would say, an hour in all directions. North and south. It's tough because you want to build out like an area, but sometimes you got to build out an area by getting one bar, and then they order and you got to go drive a keg an hour when you only have one account in that area. But then
Yeah.
you start to build out a couple more, and it starts to get a little bit easier because you're going to go out there and deliver, maybe 3 or 4 bars or 5 bars or 6 bars. But in the beginning, when you're trying to break into a new area, sometimes you just got to sack up and run a keg out there.
And maybe get some wings.
On this, when the sales days, yeah. I mean, we've done sales days where I'm just like, guys, like, all 3 of us, let's just go and hit a couple bars, and we'll see if we can sell some beer. I actually sold beer from a boat once. That was fun.
Nice.
My buddy picked me up on his boat, and we actually went from like all the shore bars with samples and like dropped off samples and talked to bar managers. And I actually caught a huge ass striped bass.
That's such a cool idea.
Yeah, so we were like, the bar's not really open yet. Let's go just throw a couple lines out. And I caught this huge ass striped bass. And my brother-in-law takes a picture of it and posts it. And my wife sees it, and she's like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, you're supposed to be working, and there's a picture of you with like a 40-inch striped bass online. And I'm like, no, I'm working, I swear.
Mm-hmm.
How's the response been with some of the bars? I mean, you always hear the stories about like Allagash White when people didn't really have a lot of Belgians, and now, IPA is kind of the heavy bar tab, I guess, at different bars and everything. How's the response been with some of your customers?
The response has been really good. Yeah, I mean, there's some places that have really kind of latched onto it, and they really, it does well for them. And the biggest thing for us is that, we want them to move beer, and it's beer that, you can have food. You can have a few of, so they like it. If someone's going to order 3 or 4 beers as opposed to 1, they like that. But it's all about the relationship. I mean, if you build a great relationship with the manager, and you build a great relationship with the bartenders, and you show up and show face and try to give them some love, they're going to sell your beer if it's good. So that's kind of our sales strategy, is just try to build relationships and, make sure that the people that are pouring the beer are into it. And that helps a lot.
And
it's
I know
industry
we always
beer.
joke.
I mean, that's what I want it to be.
Exactly.
Like, I want.
we always.
Go ahead, Steph.
No,
I'm
go
sorry.
ahead.
Keep cutting you
No,
guys
I'm just
off.
saying, like, we're all saying, podcasting on Zoom is impossible to not cut each other off. It's hard to find that like rhythm with the delay in the internet, but and Mark just mentioned about IPA, being the big seller at the bar, being the seller at the breweries being forced to make IPAs to stay in business. But the craft beer drinker is also getting older, as we are.
Yes.
Like in our late 30s, in our 40s, like we're not drinking those 10% stouts and like crazy bitter IPAs anymore. We want an easy drinking beer.
Yeah.
So perhaps the future of beer is, I don't think IPAs are ever going to go anywhere, but I don't think that it's going to be only IPAs the way it's been for such a long time, because I think the core craft beer drinker is getting older, is getting worse hangovers and feeling pain like we never had before. We want to drink the lower alcohol beers and the easier drinking beers.
Well, not only are we getting older and people like us are getting older, but the younger generations, they're not drinking beer.
No, they're not the craft beer audience.
I think it's like vodka and
tequila
tequila are the 2 highest selling vices, let's say.
White Claws. The 20-something-year-old girl I work with is always drinking White Claws.
White Claw. So you know how every drink brand is putting out their hard version? White Claw is doing a non-hard seltzer. They're like, it's White Claw without the claw. Like, so you invented fucking seltzer. You invented LaCroix. Good job.
Canada Dry.
You know we prefer Wegmans sparkling water on this podcast.
I know.
The whole White Claw thing is just so foreign to me, where it's just like, I just don't get it.
I appreciate seltzers. I mean, they're easygoing. They're not as heavy. They still get you, a little tipsy if you have a few too many of them, which sometimes is the goal. But yeah, like I feel like, for me, the White Claw and the seltzer craze, it felt like a flash in the pan. And beer is still here, and liquor is still here, and those are now struggling. Like the seltzers are now struggling.
I'd rather put a shot of gin in my tonic. That's my hard seltzer.
Yeah, that's fair.
No.
loaded Coronas. You guys ever do that?
Loaded Coronas. Good
What
God.
is a loaded Corona?
You've never had a loaded
It's a
Corona?
Corona
Oh, no.
with another Corona in it.
So you fill the neck. You know, there's space between the beer
Yeah.
and the top of the bottle. You fill it with tequila.
Oh shit.
I don't do tequila with Mark anymore.
Oh yeah.
We
Yeah.
lost half an episode that way.
Yeah, we literally lost half an episode because we drank tequila with Mark one time.
It wasn't the
That's
tequila's
amazing,
fault.
though.
It was the
Yes,
computer's
I love that
fault.
shit.
The computer.
I've had a Corona like in a margarita where you get a big margarita.
Oh
and
yeah, and they
put a
turn it
Corona
upside
bottle
down.
in it.
Yeah.
That's really good.
Just
But
tell.
I've never
tell
had
them
tequila in my
actually
Corona.
down by the Rusty Nail does it. I drank like a fucking
Oh, yeah?
100 of those things one day and poured myself back into my hotel room. But yeah, loaded Corona. They'll know exactly. They fill
Oh,
it all,
man.
and they will bang you up.
Oh God, no, thank you.
I could
It makes
drink
the
one
Corona.
maybe, and then switch to
You'll
lager.
be surprised. I'm telling you, you'll be surprised.
I would try it, especially if it's got the lime, because both of those will benefit from the lime.
I usually get the lime on the side, and because the first sip is the most of the tequila, and then
True.
you just bite the lime.
Bite the
and
lime
then
to
drink
just
the
get
beer.
through it.
Oh,
Yeah, it's kind of like a sidecar, but like in one.
True.
Where it's
Yeah.
just like you get the shot down and then wash it down with a beer. It's just in one container.
So is the future of beer loaded Coronas?
Oh my god! Now we're talking. The new
now you need
Mexican
a
lager.
bottling line, Andy. You need a bottle.
Yeah, I'm gonna start bottling.
bottle the Mexican lager.
love-
Clear bottles only.
If we made a Mexican lager and put it in clear bottles and people started adding tequila to it, I think that'd be cool as hell.
Just the stubby ones, though.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah, exactly. Like stubby, it's gotta have a long
Yep.
neck on it, so you can put a bunch of tequila in there.
My gosh.
That's awesome.
I don't like, but saying future beer, it is really scary. Like more
Yeah.
and more, I was just hearing all the latest tea with Canarchy. And what's going on
I
with
meant to
Cigar
bring that up.
City,
Yeah. Jeez.
and, like, everything that's gone down with Anchor, that one still kind of hurts, and even
Ugh.
some of our local spots that have
Flying
closed just
Fish.
within the last few months. Like it's just,
Yeah.
it's crazy. And like now more than ever, I feel like we really have to, like, if you want that spot to be open, you need to go support it and you need to be there because that's the only way that places are going to survive.
I think there's less margin for error too. It's
Yeah.
just the home brewer that has a little money. I don't think is going to make it if they're not really committed to quality and good recipes. You know, it's not like it was 5-10 years ago. I think to truly
Well,
stand out and have staying power,
yeah.
you have
And
to really produce quality product.
like Steph, brought up the point that we're all, getting older and we're not drinking as much, so we're not experimenting with different styles. And like I can't tell you the last time I got a flight at a brewery. I go in, I want the lager, I want whatever is nice and easy going, and maybe like, if I go to Second District here in South Philly, if they have like an anniversary beer, yeah, I'll drink that because I like the brewery and I'll support them. But overall, I'm getting the same beer over and over, and I'm not having many of them.
Yeah.
If I go to a new place, I'm going to pick a style that I like, and perhaps I will maybe try something else. But I'm sticking with the easygoing stuff.
Especially, why are you going to spend $8-10 and then not enjoy what you have in your glass?
Yeah, so that's the other part too. Like if I go and I get the lager and it's bad, I'm not getting another beer.
Yep.
I actually had a Miller Lite on Wednesday night.
What did you think?
Good for you.
So here's something that's interesting because that's been like my go-to venue beer lately because you go to these venues and usually the only craft is an IPA. And that stuff, it's also expensive. So went to a show at the Keswick the other week, and I had a can of a Miller Lite, and I'm like, this is actually really palatable. It's a really well-made lager. And then we went to a show in Harrisburg Wednesday night, and I got a Miller Lite on tap, and I was like, oh, fuck no. It was terrible.
Yeah. Oh, no.
So when I got my second one, I got a pounder can, and I was like, yes, this is much better. So I apparently only learned in my 40s that Miller Lite in a can, yes.
Oh, yeah,
Miller
for
Lite
sure.
on tap, hell no.
Well, I mean, you just got to get it from the right tap. I'm going to assume
And it
those
could have
lines
been-
weren't clean.
Yeah, it could have been the tap lines, but it did not seem like the kind of place that didn't care about clean tap lines. So I was kind of surprised. And it's probably a beer that's always on tap there. So it's not like it would have I don't know what the issue was there, but
Listen, we always clean our lines in New Jersey, so you guys got to figure that
hey,
out.
when I was at Iron Hill in Lancaster, we cleaned our lines like every week. Like it was a pain in the fucking ass. But you know what? You do what you got to do.
Yeah.
So Matt Brennelson, he was actually one of the instructors at brewing school and told us a story. And this is such a boss ass move, and it's why I love this motherfucker. So he used to take hop oil, and like when he'd go to a baseball game, he would like dose his Coors Light with like a couple drops of hop oil. I tried it; it's fucking mind blowing. I was like, "This is so badass." So we had little jar of hop oil and just a couple drops in your Coors Light, and it's like you got a nice hoppy beer. It's a boss ass move, and it works.
I really like that idea.
Sneaking into the brewery before he was actually hired at Firestone, and he would actually check on the beers. There's some like really badass story about him from back in like the early days when I did the tour there. He is and a brilliant fucking brewer too.
100%.
I need to fact check that story and tell it sometime on the air, but
well,
before we get too deep, and I do want to play a game, I am curious about the name Birdsmouth. What does that mean? Where does that come from?
So it's actually a carpentry joint. So have you ever heard of like dovetail? So a dovetail is a fancy carpentry joint. A bird's mouth is actually a carpentry joint you would use to put like a roof on a house. So it's more of like a construction joint.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that plays into the kind of beers that we're making are more the nuts and bolts kind of construction type beers. They're not fancy beers like dovetails. And they're meant to serve a purpose. Put a roof on a house, utilitarian. And that's kind of where that came from. And also it's the New Jersey State bird on there. I like birds a lot.
Oh.
So that kind of played into the whole thing as well. But yeah, Birdsmouth joint is actually in wood joinery, a construction joint that you notch out a piece of wood, and you can do it to like make stairs, put roofs on houses. So I like that whole kind of imagery there, where it's like we're trying to make something functional, just like a carpenter would take, a tree and turn it into a chair. We're trying to do the same thing where we're taking an agricultural product and making something useful. Not just meant to be beautiful alone, but actually have a purpose and serve, some use.
And something that takes a lot of precision too, like unappreciated precision, perhaps. We don't think about that when we're looking at the roof of our house or walking up a set of stairs, but
right.
I think that's where you have the parallel with loggers too. It
Mhm.
can go underappreciated, but there's an incredible level of detail and care that goes into that.
Yep.
Absolutely.
It's like making food with very, sometimes the hardest dishes to cook only have 3 ingredients. Look at pizza dough. I mean, pizza dough is basically it's a beer recipe. It's the same recipe, just less water. And barley instead of wheat.
Is that why I love pizza so much? It's beer with less water.
It's beer with less water. Yeah, I mean, if you're going to mix water and, in the only difference, wheat opposed to barley, you mix them together and add yeast. In one situation, you make pizza. In the other situation, you make beer. Well, there's very different levels of how good pizza can get. There's really shitty pizza and there's really good pizza, but everyone's using the same 3 ingredients.
That's a pretty good analogy. I had never really thought of it that way before, but you're right. You can have really bad pizza. You can have really good pizza. You get a really bad beer. You get a really good beer. And it's the same ingredients. I love that.
Yeah, but bad pizza is better than bad beer.
Well, okay, yes, better than bad beer. I thought you were going to say bad pizza is still pizza, and I still to this day regret the worst pizza of my life, which was in Los Angeles.
We need to break this down to an analogy then. So if you show up to a party in the woods and you have no access to anything else, and someone brings a shitty pizza and someone brings shitty beer, and you have to kick one of them out, you're keeping the shitty beer.
Okay, but here's the question, because when I think of shitty beer, I think of like poor quality beer, like infected and like just not made properly. Like I'm not thinking like shitty, like I don't like
Ice House.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
Someone shows up with bees, be like, "Come on in." Like, you get a pass.
Like
But
if
yeah,
it's
all right,
shitty beer,
back
but
to
it's
beer.
also like not poorly made, of course I'm gonna drink the beer. But I've been burned with enough really poorly made beer in my life that so bad that I will not go back to those breweries.
Yes.
But that's not
I
the
see
kind
what
of
you're
beer you're gonna bring to a party in the woods. It's gonna
No.
be like a case of hams. So I would
A
take them
box
both.
of Helios and a case of hams.
Yes.
Now I want a Corona though.
Only if you add tequila.
Only if I add tequila.
I promise we're going to play the game shortly, but I need to ask, which Grateful Dead songs have bagpipes?
Oh no, so we have bagpipers too.
What a
So-
fucking wild combo.
I know. So there's these guys that when we opened, Chris from Atlantic Watch was like, "Do you mind if we play bagpipes when you guys open the doors up?" And I'm like, "No." So he lives around the corner. He's the head of this bagpipe band. So I let them practice and shit here because they have like room to march around and stuff. So they just show up like all the time. It would be like a Wednesday night, and they just show up full regalia and just blast out some bagpipes.
That's amazing. That's so cool.
It's amazing. So they were just, going through Red Bank and playing at a bunch of bars, and they'll just swing by and play bagpipes like totally randomly.
Oh, that's so
we
cool.
get bagpipes like all the time.
That is so cool.
It'll be like June, and bagpipes will roll through here. But they're really cool dudes, and it's just like, yeah, you guys play bagpipes, I'll feed you beers.
That's
Wait,
great.
and they just show up and you guys don't even know they're coming?
Unannounced
They
bagpipes.
just show up.
That's fucking amazing.
Tonight I knew they were showing up.
Yeah.
But like Chris on his way home, he'll just be like, "Yeah, I'm gonna pop in and play some bagpipes and have a beer." It's awesome.
Okay,
they're
they
cool
need
as
to come
dudes.
on my birthday.
Were they the ones that brought the bad pizza into the woods?
Yeah.
And the hams.
Was it like haggis pizza?
Oh,
Ew.
man.
Ugh.
But yeah,
That's
there's quite
awesome.
a bit of bagpipes that happen at Birdsmouth.
That's so cool. That's so fucking
quite a
cool.
bit.
I love that.
And they're actually they're like really good too. Like
Good.
sometimes you hear bagpipes and you're like, oh shit, they suck. These guys are good.
You have a lot of experience with bagpipes.
Well, so I'll be like brewing and they'll be practicing. So it's like there's no one else in the brewery but me. Or I'll be like cleaning a tank and they're practicing and it is like 20 of them playing in the brewery and it's like they're playing just to me. And I'm in the cellar brewing and it's like fucking so unbelievably loud, but it's like so triumphant. Like I'll be up in the brew deck, like jumping half into the
Triumphant.
tank. And it's just like, fuck yeah, I got my own personal 20-person bagpipe band playing just for me.
I feel like there are very few people on this earth that would appreciate that as much as you do. They picked the right
Oh,
person to
it's-
connect with. Anyone else would be like, get the
They're like-
fuck out of here.
I do have to take a break every once in a while, especially like when they're tuning up and shit. I'm like, oh man.
Oh dear.
Oh,
Oh,
God. Out of tune
oh.
bagpipes.
Nothing worse than an out of tune bagpipe.
And out of tune
I
oboe
know,
pretty
but
bad.
these guys
Ooh.
are good where they're constantly like they like constantly checking their tuning.
Nice.
So it's not bad. Like sometimes they can be pretty wearing, but these guys are pros.
That's good.
And when 20 bagpipers and drums are playing and you're cleaning a tank, you feel like you are doing the most important shit ever. You feel it's,
Well, do they have a
Like,
name?
it's
Can we give
awesome.
them a plug?
yeah, Atlantic Watch.
Atlantic Watch. All right.
Oh, I didn't make
Yep,
the
they
connection
are-
that was the name of the bagpipe.
Yep. The Atlantic Watch, they are kick-ass bagpipers. They play all through Jersey Shore. They've been good friends of ours in here all the time. Really good dudes. And if you need a bagpipe band, look them up.
Sounds like a beer collab coming up.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, we did one already. So we have
Oh,
our
nice.
black lager cans. Yeah, on the other side of our black lager cans is their logo.
Cool.
I love that you just casually said if you need a bagpipe band. Like that's a thing that the everyday person needs.
Hey, some people
Which,
do.
at this point, yeah, I agree. They do. But I would not have thought of that before 2 minutes ago.
If you bring a keg of Birdsmouth somewhere and you need a bagpipe band,
Call them up.
They'll be
Atlantic
there.
Watch.
They just
backyard
follow.
party.
I mean,
That's
how do you
full,
get a hold?
that's
Is it
full.
1-800-BAGPIPE? How do you get a hold of them? We'll look it up. I know. We'll look it up.
Yeah,
I just wanted to say 1-800. I just wanted to say 1-800
bagpipe.
bagpipe.
Chris's cell phone number and be like, if you need the bagpipe, it's 732-774. Like,
oh God,
they have one of those silent whistles.
Oh no,
they can just hear and they come.
That only bagpipers can hear.
Yeah,
yeah. It's the sound of an opening beer.
The
crack of a can, and they'll be there.
Oh my gosh.
But that's actually a kick-ass move. If you're like having a backyard party and you get 20 bagpipers to roll in,
yeah,
it's a baller-ass move.
It's gonna be a party everybody remembers.
That's a Matt Brennelson move right there.
Yes.
Well, shall we play a game, everyone?
We shall.
All right.
Yeah, what's the deal with the game?
We'll find out.
Okay.
Yeah, and Dan's hosting it, so this is gonna be scary.
Oh boy.
In our you are, what is this, episode 262?
Yes.
How many times have you hosted a game?
Shit.
3 or 4.
That's low. That's like 1.5%.
It's usually Wayne. He prepared this one for me. So the questions, everything else is me. The vamping, it's all me.
Okay.
In fact, cheers,
Internet.
And welcome to Happy Fun Time Games, the podcast trivia segment that recognizes the sovereign land of Central Jersey.
Indeed.
And is always control S-ing.
And is always control S-ing. That is absolutely...
Oh, command S-ing. I fucked it up.
I mean...
Or is it control?
Command on Mac. Command S-ing. And control S-ing. I work on PCs 5 days a week. It's... anyway.
Look at you, ambidextrous.
Yeah, no, you forget one real quick. It's also pork roll. We've established that, but it is pork roll, and I will fight anybody who says anything otherwise. On today's edition of Happy Fun Time Games, we are returning to the one, the only, the perennial, the true or false, the truth or dare that is libation or fabrication. For the uninitiated, I will tell you the name of a thing, typically a beer. It says thing on here. That I did read. That was Wayne. He typed thing, not beer. I will tell you the name of what should be a beer, but you need to tell me if it is real or fake, a libation or a fabrication. Typically, we begin in time-honored tradition with me to Wayne's virtual left, but I'm in charge. So we're starting with Steph, who is actually on my screen to my virtual left. Steph, I need you to tell me, is this a real or fake beer? Doppel your Bach or your money Bach?
That better be fake.
It better be fake.
It's gotta be real.
It better be fake. Oh, okay. All right. Andy is saying, is that your official answer, Andy?
Yeah.
Okay, there we go. Andy's official answer, and I have to draw arrows on my scoreboard because...
there was a beer that won the Great American Beer Festivals that was Oops, I Dunkled My Pants.
Yes.
I fucking love that.
I remember that one.
Yes.
Oh my God, I want that beer.
It won. It was probably awesome.
It probably didn't have chocolate and peanut butter in it. So
And it should have. It should have. What else happens in your pants? Don't answer that. Mark, what do you think? Doppel your Bach or your money Bach? Is that real or fake?
Real.
Real. Steph says fake. Andy and Mark say real. Steph is correct. The only one coming out of the gate with a strong lead of 1-0.
At least I'm not getting a goose egg. So
Right. As Wayne writes, all of the obvious Bach puns, and most of the not so obvious ones too, are already spoken for. I'm not even really sure what this means, he writes. Me neither, Wayne. We move on. Andy, I guess that means you will be up next. The next beer is I Came, I Saw, I Lagered. Is that real or is that fake?
I'm going real.
Going real. It is a real
That's
beer.
Julius Caesar, right?
Yes, exactly. We are recording on the Ides of March. Small history lesson. And that officially dates this podcast episode. That's what they teach you in Broadcasting School 101. Date every single fucking show.
Wow.
With the F-bomb, indeed. My college professors would be proud of me swearing on the internet. Andy says, real. We move on to... shit, I already got my order messed up because I already messed everything up. Mark, I think you're next? Sure, why the fuck not? Mark, you are next. I Came, I Saw, I Lagered. Is that real or is that fake?
Fake.
Fake. Mark says fake, and we move on to Steph. What do you think, real or fake?
It's very unusual to have 2 fake beers in a row.
You know that logic has no place here. I should have jumbled these up. I should have mixed them up. I'm reading them in order. Not that helps you, but I should have just thrown a wrench in everything. You also know that after 10 years, logic has no place in these games. You know who wrote this.
That. And the harder I think about something, the more likely I am to get it wrong.
True.
I don't know. It's a little long for a beer name, and breweries that make their beer names that long are now out of business.
Not all of them.
Or soon to be bought out.
Again, not all of them.
That's a story for after recording. I'm going to say fake.
Steph is saying fake. Mark also said fake, but that means that Andy is correct. It was, in fact, a real beer. This is
I should not have overthunk it.
Overthunk. Nope. You should not have. This is an American light lager, though one Wayward Soul on Untapped referred to it as an Italian Pilsner. They may be forgiven, however, as the quaff was likely consumed in the dark. I lagered is the product of the Flicks Brewhouse in Albuquerque, New Mexico, a movie theater / restaurant / brew pub. Flicks has several locations, but it seems this expertly named lager was only available in Albuquerque.
If you go to Albuquerque, you should go to Bow and Arrow.
Bow and Arrow. That's a good recommendation.
Yes. Don't they make like a blue corn Mexican lager?
Well, every brewery in New Mexico does, but
It's good.
yeah.
They were on the cover of New Brewer.
Yes, they were.
Yes.
They are a Native American queer-owned brewery, and their beers are fucking amazing, and their tap room is fucking gorgeous.
Nice.
That's badass.
Good to know. I have to get to Albuquerque, I suppose.
Yes, and the food truck accommodated us and made us vegetarian food, so that
Aw,
was really awesome.
that's
too.
nice.
Aw.
That's really cool.
We literally landed in Albuquerque and Ubered to the brewery.
Love that.
That's what you should do. That's what you should do.
You roll in with your luggage, and we were not the only people that rolled in there with luggage.
Oh, of course not. I
It's
bet.
not exactly close to the airport. The Uber driver could not find
Oh.
it. It was it's as hard to find as Birdsmouth. Not gonna lie.
Oh, no.
Anyway, now you really forgot the order.
Yeah, kind of. But do you get people at Birdsmouth with luggage?
No.
You know what,
Is
Mark?
there a
At
Monmouth
least
airport?
not yet.
Right, yeah, but Mark,
I would give them a free beer. If you show up
Yeah,
with luggage
well-
straight from the airport, you get a beer.
do you just want them to have luggage, or do you want to inspect the luggage to see that they're actually going in? Like, do you expect to find clothes in there, or what if you open it up and it's like $1 million in cash?
That's a good point, because people are just going to start rolling in here with luggage looking for beers.
It could be empty. They could roll in there with empty suitcases to load up with beer to take out.
I need to see your tiny shampoo bottles. if you
Exactly.
do not get your beer.
Then they need to be TSA approved.
Yes.
That's the only way. These are the criteria you need to meet.
How are the TSA lines getting into your brewery? Is it a long line?
Do you have to have pre-check?
Pre-check.
Is that the code for the tours now in Jersey? You have to go through the TSA pre-check
through pre-check.
so you can drink beer.
They've loosened it up a little bit.
I heard. We
Yeah.
should chat about that. Anyway, on
Let's
to the next beer.
circle back to that. But yes, on to the
Fire an air horn in the corner and then like drench you in something.
I love this. I love
and buttons.
What color is Mark? Just hit all the Mark colors.
I should. That makes more sense. There we go. Well, this is the part of the podcast where we shout out our most generous patrons on Patreon. We would like to thank the following individuals for their continuing generosity and helping keep the lights on at Beer Busters World Headquarters. We would like to thank from the bottom of our livers, Jen McDonnell.
Oh my God.
Eric Dixon.
Okay, bye.
Dana.
And the pickles.
James Lamberg.
Smells like betrayal.
Chris Mahoney.
Les tits.
Sean Sullivan.
Just the tip.
Brian Mills.
Just an innocent man at a bar eating pickles.
Jill Chivers.
Amazing.
Joe Mansell.
Oh, yeah.
We're out of Mark clips. I got to do better. Topher Simmons.
Can I have the camera? I want to take a picture of these cans.
I fired at random, Steph. That wasn't fair. Sorry, that's a bad clip. It was Topher Simmons and Ben Mengel. You get this one. Oh shit, that's a bad one. Yeah, you get this one.
Drugs.
Dude, we want to hear the bad one now.
It was. I have Tourette's. That. Nothing against anyone who has that. Yes, patrons, thank you for your patronage. If you would like to be part of this list and get access to all the cool behind-the-scenes goodies that are available on the Beer Busters Patreon, I would very strongly encourage you to head to patreon.com/beerbusters. And now, we command S.
Oh, I got it. We're going to make that a thing. That's like our fetch.
I guess it's going to be a thing now. It's like our fetch. I wanted to say that to somebody at work today, and I was like, you're not going to understand that reference.
I'm lost.
Right age group, wrong gender?
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like Mean Girls is pretty androgynous.
Yeah.
I should have known that. If that's a Mean Girls reference?
Yeah.
Yeah, I should totally have known
But
that.
then again, like, when's the last time you saw Mean Girls?
It literally just was re-released.
Well, okay, when's the last time you saw the original Mean Girls?
I didn't know there was another one.
Yeah, it kind of flew under the radar. It's a musical. They didn't advertise it that way, but it's a musical.
Wait. How old are your kids?
1 and 3.
Oh, never mind. I won't give you shit.
What shit were you going to give him?
Well, if they were old enough that they could see it. Of course, I don't know I don't have children, so I don't know what the appropriate age is to be able to watch Mean Girls.
Is it PG-13?
I don't
I have a feeling it's PG-13. So it was. But then again, I don't know. PG is probably pretty racy these days.
I don't know.
Yeah, they've definitely moved the bar.
Yeah. Do you believe there was a point where PG-13 didn't exist? I think it was like the mid to late 80s that came about.
That explains a lot.
Yeah,
That's why we're so messed up.
Yup.
Like PG-13, like back in the days, like if you said fuck, it was gonna be PG.
I think it's, if I remember right, it was you get one F-bomb to be PG-13, but the second it's
Where it
more
was like,
than that.
My
It's,
kids are 1 and 3 and probably hear fuck 40 times a day.
yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's true. Like, you go outside and it's just, it's
I lost you guys there.
it's like the. Fuck is as ubiquitous as the.
We did hear you say fuck 40 times a day, so that's all that matters.
Yes.
I'm really trying hard now that my son is starting to say fuck.
Oh, no.
Trying to curb it, but it's tough, especially working in a brewery. It's just like, you think with it. I'll just be like, fuck. Like, it's like, what am I going to say?
Right.
Fuck.
Do they come and visit you a lot?
The kids?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. They're coming tomorrow.
Nice.
So tomorrow we have more music and going to have a little bash. It'll be cool.
You just have to make sure Felix learns how to play the bagpipes.
Right.
Yeah, well, he's got plenty of teachers because they're dying for him to join that band. There's like an 11-year-old kid in that band. And he's good.
That's awesome.
You know what gets me about bagpipes besides, the choice to play them? It's circular breathing. You have to breathe out while you're breathing in, and I don't understand how that's physically possible.
Yeah, I think I'd get a headache.
Yeah.
I always think about it. Actually, I should ask these guys. Like, that bag that they're blown into must stink.
Oh,
'Cause those
God.
dudes fucking drink beers like animals.
That's
Like,
a good point.
Well,
do,
so
do
the-
you clean it?
I don't know. That's what I want to know.
There's
got
to be a way to do it. There has to
Like
be.
one smell like buffalo wings or pork roll.
God.
And you got to saddle up for another night of fucking playing bagpipes, and you blow that thing in your face.
Oh,
with
God.
Rank beer breath in it. That's fucking nasty.
Okay, maybe you don't want Felix to play the bagpipes.
Well, bagpipes were originally like, so we mentioned haggis here. Bagpipes were like sheep stomachs that they attached things to. So it was.
I play the flute. The pads on my flute are like fish bladders.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, now, like, the bagpipe, are any of the guys in Atlantic Watch playing like sheep stomach bagpipes, or are they all synthetic?
I think some of the bagpipes they have are like legit.
Oh, God, no. I was really hoping you'd say no.
Thousands of dollars, and I think that they're made out of whatever they were made out of back in the day.
I was really hoping you'd say no.
We need to record an episode with the bagpipers.
Last call.
I have so many questions.
I'll get Chris right now.
We could do last call with the bagpipers.
Right, yeah.
I do want to ask you guys before we wrap this up, because this is a conversation that usually comes up whenever we record with the Jersey brewery. We know that historically the beer laws in Jersey have not necessarily been the most brewery friendly, but I know that there have been some positive changes recently. So how is the face of New Jersey beer right now, and what changes have happened with the laws over the last year or so, perhaps?
So, Mark, you want to go for this one first, or?
I really don't know too much about it beyond a little loosened of entertainment and the food trucks.
Yeah. So I don't really know a ton about it either. I think me and Mark are coming from we're production breweries primarily. I mean, we have tasting rooms and they're important to us. But being a production brewery, it hasn't made a huge impact for us. But I'm really happy that, a lot of other breweries are hopefully going to see some success, and it makes it a little bit easier to have a successful brewery in New Jersey. Because I think breweries are important, and having breweries around is a good thing, and it's not an easy business. So any kind of help that you can get to keep them around, I think we need to support, because they're just good community places. I mean, you got people that come in and bring their dogs, bring their kids. Like, those aren't places that you don't do that at a bar. So we need breweries, and we need to make it to that. And yeah, exactly. And we need to make areas that people can go and enjoy that kind of thing. So it's good that those laws have loosened up a little bit. Does it really change our plan? No, because we're really trying to be a manufacturing production brewery. So it doesn't really move the needle huge for us, but I can see where it's important for, just the industry as a whole. I think it's good.
I agree. Speaking of events, I see you guys have the beer run coming up, a 5K and craft beer fest, April 20th and 21st.
And we got Bikes and Beer coming up too.
And
the
when
beer
is
run
that?
is that's May 4th. So that's actually here. And I think you guys have done it too, Mark, right?
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah. Remember?
Yeah.
When I put the application in too late and shit, it was fucking nightmare. And I called Mark. I'm like, Mark, dude, what the fuck did you like? And he helped me navigate those part. It was a nail biter. But the beer run is an awesome event. Really cool, good folks that run that. There's some good beer there. People do the run, they come back. It's such a cool atmosphere. It's one of those festivals where it's just like, this is pretty cool, and everyone's chill. So definitely looking forward to that. AC Beer Fest is coming up. That should be fun. We're doing some beers for that. So there's some good stuff on the calendar.
Do we know who's headlining AC Beer Fest? Has that been announced?
Goldfinger's one of them. Hot Mulligan and Saves the Day are the other ones, I think.
That was the most exhausting weekend of my life when we recorded all 3 sessions of AC Beer Fest.
And I didn't get to see Descendants for more than one song.
Yeah, I don't think I would ever work that fest again. I think I would just attend.
No, it was fun. Mark and I went a couple of years ago. That was fun. It was really cool to be like just a civilian there.
Yeah.
This is the first time I'm working it ever.
Make sure you fill yourself with energy, because it's fun, but it is fucking exhausting.
And it's outdoors now.
Oh, it is?
Yeah, it's at Bader Field instead of the
indoors and outdoors.
Oh, wait, what?
They're doing both.
Oh. Is it a Bader Field again?
Yeah, I think they're doing what is it? They got the first one coming up in April.
Oh.
And they're doing Bader Field later, I think in like June or July.
Oh, wow.
It's like Record Store Day. They just keep adding them.
Yeah, just keep going. Damn. Well, that's good to know, I guess. Cool.
It's
AC
always
Beer
a fun
Fest.
time.
It is.
It's a good celebration of beer, but also a specific celebration of New Jersey beer.
Yeah.
Which is always really cool.
Yeah. And plus, music. The music is a really cool part of it. I like that they built kind of like the legacy of it being the music and the beer fest. That's really cool.
I like the idea that it's outdoors now because the convention center was kind of depressing. I'm not gonna lie.
It was because there were no windows, and it was like a really nice weekend. When we walked between sessions to get food, it was such a great day outside.
Yeah.
But when we were at Bader Field and Thrice and Alkaline Trio played, it was hot as balls. That day was rough. So if you go to the outdoor one, remember to drink water too. Do that anyway if you go to a beer fest. But for the love of God, if you're outdoors, take care of yourself out there.
So speaking of lagers, I hear there's an all lager beer fest in Philadelphia. Are you guys going to that this year?
Oh my God! I went last year,
Nice.
and I was drunk before VIP hour was over.
Oh my God!
Because you don't understand, I was like a kid in the candy store, and I'm like, I need to drink every lager here, and
I'm
it
trying
was
to
like,
go this year.
I can never do
dude.
it. I can't do it. I don't have
Just
enough
put a-
self-control.
Mark, just put a Birdsmouth shirt on. Come and fucking jump behind the doggy dog.
All right.
We got you, man.
That's cool.
No problem.
That's cool.
Oh my God. It is absolutely amazing. I highly recommend the hotel literally across the street. That's where we stayed. I do recommend the VIP hour because you get food and all kinds of stuff too. And we got a 4-pack of the Hallertau pills, the Krausen pills or whatever. That was fucking delicious.
And that's
some really
people
cool
from
swag.
around the country, isn't it?
Ken and Meredith know how to throw a party.
Yeah,
like it is
absolutely.
one of
They throw
the
a
premier
fucking killer party.
fests. It was so much fun. I just don't physically have the self-control to attend that event. Like,
And that's breweries. That's breweries from around the country, isn't it? Or is it more regional?
Yeah.
No, they're
Like I
all
poured
over.
next to Eric from Cohesion.
Yeah, Eric.
Their beer was fucking good, dude.
Like Ashley from Bierstadt came a few years ago, but now the Firestone Invitational has been the same weekend too. So Bierstadt has been doing that event instead. But
no shit. Sacred Profane was there last year.
yes,
Nice.
that's where I went first. I went to Brienne first because
They were
that was the
badass.
first
We
time I had
beers
had their
afterwards
beer.
there. That was the first time I actually got to meet her. She was cool as shit.
Yeah, she is a badass person.
Badass for sure. And their beers are fucking good.
I don't
All the
think
beers
they-
that
they
that
just-
festival was an awesome festival.
Sacred Profane just opened their second location.
No
wow.
shit.
Yeah. Really, really
Badass.
happy for them. Good people, good beer.
I don't think
Love
we've
it.
mentioned
That was fun
the,
fest. Looking forward to
the
that again.
I don't think we've mentioned like the name of the event that we were talking about. Log jamming.
Oh,
Log
Log
jamming.
Jam.
Yeah,
Log
I know.
jamming.
For us, I know, but we have to say it if we're
Oh.
trying to help promote the event.
Don't tell
I
the
mean,
audience.
obviously.
Don't
I'm pretty
key them
sure
in on this.
I'm pretty sure we promoted
Yeah,
it
exactly.
I know.
This
Kids
is
gonna
for
be like,
us.
what the fuck?
Yeah, and I know this because I was just at Human Robot last night. It's June 1st at Cherry Street Pier. There was a QR code for tickets, but I'll see if we can link it to the episode because we want to help Ken and Meredith because they're great people who know how to do a really cool party.
They know how to do it right for sure.
Yeah. So get your tickets for that if you think you have the self-control for it. I don't. I didn't go last year, and it's a good thing I didn't go.
Wayne and Jess went too.
Yeah, I forget what was going on that day, but I couldn't make it.
It was a crazy weekend because we went to Log Jammin', we stayed over, we went to a thing in Delaware, and then drove back to Philly and went to the K Flay and Grandson concert at what is it called now?
Camden?
Whatever the Electric Factory is now. And
Oh,
then we
Franklin Music Hall.
from there. So it was also the first time I ever had Underberg, and I shouldn't have done that.
That was actually that Log Jamming was the first time I had Underberg too.
Yeah, fucking Ken.
I like it. I like it a lot.
I say there are people who go crazy for that, and like they sell their branded backpacks where they have the bandolier for the Underberg bottles.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Well, and then we were smart. We're like, yeah, we went out to eat, and then we're like, we were invited to like the after party at Human Robot, and we're like, that's a good idea. So we Ubered there, and I got there and we got one beer, and I'm like, this was a terrible idea. We need to go back to the hotel.
Yeah.
This is a bad idea.
Human Robot was the last stop in Wayne's bachelor party, and by that point we weren't drunk, but we had had enough.
I don't think you get drunk anymore when you're our age.
You don't.
Your body just hits a wall, and your body's like, we can't. No,
Unless you go to street liquor, you don't really. So maybe the loaded Corona would get you
Loaded
there.
Coronas will fuck anyone up. Beyond belief.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, man. All right, so I have to ask the question. If anybody wants to know anything more about Birdsmouth, where should they go?
Our Instagram, Birdsmouth Beer. Actually, I don't even know what our Instagram handle is. It's
We
terrible.
will
I'm not in charge of that part of the.
It happens. We'll
I would imagine if you type in Birdsmouth Beer into Instagram, you're gonna get to us.
And we'll link and tag appropriately.
Also, go out to your local bars and restaurants. Hopefully, we're on tap
in Jersey.
And if we're not, ask for a Birdsmouth, and hopefully those bar managers will, call me up and get some beers on draft. And then come to the brewery, obviously. And I guess our website, birdsmouthbeer.com.
Perfect.
I felt like that was the weirdest way to describe those things.
Maybe we can stretch you into Philly.
Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed.
Maybe.
I know a couple cool bars in South Philly that would love to have you.
Cross a river,
the last time we did log jamming, I sent some kegs to Philly. So 31st and Wharton hits me up again. Maybe we'll do that again.
31st
That's
and
awesome.
Wharton.
Yeah, we have to go through a distributor if we're going to go across.
Oh, good point. Good point. Good point.
I can't say if I could self-distribute down to Philly, I would fucking bring kegs tomorrow.
Yeah. Well, I am trying to make a case for keeping my kegerator. So if you have a sixtel you want to send over to Philly, I got one in my basement that is just.
Dude, you want to?
I mean,
you want a sixtel, man? I got you, bro.
I won't say no to beer. I was joking, but I won't say no to it.
If you want to make the trek up here, or somehow we can get you a sixtel, man, done.
I'll make the trek.
Meet me there on my birthday.
Gonna say,
everyone
Steph's,
come to Birdsmouth and celebrate my birthday with me. The only people invited are the people that know when my birthday is.
I was just going to ask if you wanted us to say it.
Nope.
Okay.
There's going to be bagpipes, because there's bagpipes every night.
And jug handles.
And jug handles. God damn it. God damn it. But then again, you know where all the good wings are around you, so we at least know where we can get good wings.
Yes. I will lead you to the good wings.
I would follow you to wings.
Yeah.
Are you hitting on him now?
What? No, I just want wings. I'm hungry.
No, it's all in the theme of the show. Birds,
I feel like that's a
Right.
pickup line. I would follow you to wings.
I would follow you to wings.
I would lead you to wings.
That's the title of the episode. I would follow you to wings.
Not bagpipes and jug handles.
Bagpipes, jug handles, and Command S.
And Command S.
Oh my god.
Jesus Christ. Well, as I mentioned, we will tag and link accordingly, and the places that we will do that. You can follow along on Threads and Instagram. We're at Beerbusters. Facebook, we're Beerbusters Podcast. It's beerbusterspodcast.com, where you can also either click on the shop tab or add/shop to the URL and then hit enter while you're typing it. You know how the internet works. You get merch, swag that Wayne designed. It's all really cool. YouTube, we're Beer Busters Podcast, and then there is the aforementioned Patreon, where as little as $1 a month will get you access to behind-the-scenes goodies and the back catalogs of the punishment videos and Last Call, and when we did Blockbusters for like 2 episodes. That's still on there, I think. I had fun doing that. I hope you listen to it, and I hope you like it.
We should watch the Taylor Swift thing and do a Blockbusters episode on that, because Wayne is obsessed with Taylor Swift.
Well, that means Jess has to be our guest for that episode.
Well, of course, but like torture you and I watching it.
I wouldn't mind it. Like, she's a talented musician and is an energetic performer, and she knows how to win over a crowd. And I like that in a performer. I've really tried to take even if I don't like the music per se, I'll never deny that anybody is talented and can captivate a crowd and is a good performer.
love that I put you on a tangent while you were doing the outro of the episode.
That's what happens here. It's been like 3.5 months since we recorded.
I know.
There are tangents to be had.
We are elder podcasters. We've been doing this for 11 years, so fuck off.
She said it.
Talking to our listeners, not you guys.
Yeah. What if Mark just hung up?
They stopped listening like 10 minutes ago.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Well, we should mercifully land this plane not at the Atlantic City airport, but or Cape May or wherever the fuck it is. I don't even know.
Bring your luggage to Birdsmouth to get beers.
There we go. Bring the luggage. That's right. We
to
do
the
that.
Monmouth Airport.
Exactly. There
But
we
just
go.
bring your freaking, pass, and I want to see the little shampoo bottles.
Boarding pass.
Boarding pass. That's what I was looking for. Boarding pass.
And your rum hams and your bad pizza.
Yes. Can't forget the rum ham. And maybe a sloppy steak or two.
Yep.
And you'll get a loaded Corona.
Yes.
And a case of ham.
And a case of hams. Good Lord. It just keeps growing. I think, unfortunately and semi-mercifully, this is the end of another episode of Beer Busters. It felt good to do it again. I missed y'all. Oh, God, this is loud. Jesus Christ. Of course, thank you, Andy, for joining us. It was a lot of fun, and I'm dying to get over there. I'm glad you joined us. Thank you. And, of course, you listening to this, remember, if you find yourself in Jersey, go grab this beer. And you're going to enjoy it because it's all lager-based. Let's face it, you like lagers because lagers are great. Well, my name is Dan Baker. I'm joined by my co-host and brewologist,
Steph Hefner.
and the demented and fermented
Mark.
Remember, it's not about I forget the fucking quote. Just drink beer, enjoy your friends, and have a good time.
You have a last name, asshole.
Jesus Christ.
Well, you think you're Beyonce?